Okay, everyone, welcome to episode 65 of To the Rink podcast. Puffy, who's number 65?
Probably the most famous 65 now, the one that comes to mind for me, Erik Karlsson, former Norris Trophy winner, great Ottawa Senator, pretty good San Jose Shark probably, terrible Pittsburgh Penguin it seems like. They're on the hook for a big salary. Kyle Dubas, not so good picking him up. But apparently he's on the market. I can't imagine who would want him for the price tag and what he delivers now. But 65 is definitely Erik Karlsson.
What does he go for? What's he looking for?
Like, well, what he gets paid?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but he's in the, I think he's 10 plus a year.
Oh, wow.
And he's got, and he has term, and he's not worth that anymore.
You also said something funny there, which was a great Ottawa Senator, which you don't really hear often because I can't stand the Ottawa Senators. I'm sorry for those who like the Ottawa Senators. They're just not a team for me.
See, if you had asked me in the early 2000s when we were having our playoff rivalry, I actually got to a point when I liked beating the Senators more than the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes.
That is flipped for me. I mean, at work, I work a lot of Sens games.
Right.
I've seen a lot of bad Sens hockey over the last bit. And what really turned it for me is my friend Dave Poulin.
Davey Poulin.
Their executive team. And so I would love Dave to have success. And so I do have a soft spot a bit for the Sens, except when they're playing the Leafs.
That's true. I mean, Dave Poulin, you know that my dad taught him everything he knows, right?
Yes, he basically is Bruce Caton's protege.
Yeah. The other 65, I have a number this week for 65 too, as we got to this episode, and I realized is me in Lauren Park football, number 65.
Oh, nice.
Lineman. I have the old jersey somewhere in the house.
I love it.
I was number 65. Center.
Oh, that's a great one. I could see. Were you the center?
I was a long snapper and a center.
Oh, that's a great position. Nice. Right in the mix.
Yeah, right in the mix. High school. Lauren Park. Shout out to the Spartans.
Lauren Park was a good football team over the years.
Oh, yeah. They were like, when I was there, it was life. Like, it was like football was the thing, you know, but I don't know my nephew's on the team now, but I don't think they do too well now. I don't think they're that.
It doesn't seem to, I mean, high school football when we were kids, it wasn't West Texas, but it was a thing a bit.
Definitely a thing.
Doesn't feel like it's still a thing, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just I'm not close.
Yeah, I think the concussions and the equipment and everything really canceled it out. Yeah, because I know Lauren Park has it, but I'm not too sure all the teams we used to play, if they're still playing or not. I think some of the teams used to amalgamate, and like if you were at Cawthra and Port Credit, you could play on the Port Credit team, but I don't even know if that exists anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as concussions and stuff, I certainly wanted my kids to play football, but unfortunately, Barrett's school doesn't have it. Otherwise, I would have been pressuring them to do it.
Yeah, well, so Puff, we're recording this Wednesday. We're sandwiched between this exciting time for you, which was last weekend, the Silver Stick down in Port Huron. We have to hear about it. And we're recording early on Wednesday because you're off to Turks and Caicos for the next couple of days. So this is a sandwich moment. We've got Puffy right in between these two excellent things, right?
Back-to-back great long weekends. Heading to Turks and Caicos with Barrett tomorrow. Tanya and Austin and her parents actually left today. They're already there. We stayed because Barrett had an exam, and we don't want to miss him missing as much school. So we're coming back early on Sunday. But, I'm looking forward to that. And last weekend in Port Huron, terrific weekend. We had a blast. The kids had a blast. We had a big house that all the kids stayed at, and then a few of the parents, coaches and stuff. And then, but all the parents came over and hung out. Great weekend off the ice. On the ice was a little disappointing. We went 1 win, 3 losses. We had a chance to make the quarterfinals in our third game and lost 3-2 in a tough one. Both our losses in the round robin were 1-goal losses to good teams. That. So it was a little disappointing on the ice, but we played pretty decent. The team's just really good teams, and sometimes hockey comes down to a few bounces, and they didn't really go our way last weekend. But
and it was the experience, right? The experience 100%. Of it for the kids to make it to that tournament, which was really cool. And I know the coin didn't go your way on that one, but it didn't seem like they were blowouts. They were 1-point games. It looked like.
Yeah, it was all a lot of one goal games, and like pretty much every team there was really, really strong. And the Friday night they had an opening ceremonies where all the teams came and they all did like sort of a parade around the rink and then went on the ice. And it's pretty cool to see, probably, I mean, what 16 teams, probably around 30 odd teams of, 17 kids on a team and coaching staff. And all these kids whose hockey's been such a big part of their lives are 14 years old now, have all had some success being at this tournament. So it's a pretty cool moment for, I think, the parents and the kids themselves. And Port Huron, great town. The rinks were great. Really well-organized tournament. They have their spots to go and get meals. And Austin, my in-laws were down, and so Austin was hanging out with them a lot. And he was hitting all the hot spots, the Olive Gardens, enjoying he had about 3 steaks, I think, that weekend. So he had a blast.
He loves it. Well, I'm sorry to hear, but it sounds like it was a great time for the kids. And now that's in the rear view mirror and looking ahead to playoffs here, right?
Yes, we're all about the final for that group. It's the final push forward. We're currently tied for first with the Young Bruins, and we have 1 game in hand. We play tonight against Markham, so hopefully we can win that game. But it'll be tight right down the wire. So that's going to be we play the Bruins Sunday. Barrett's actually missing that game because he'll be in Turks, but hopefully we can finish strong and win the regular season title, and then the playoffs are right after that. And then Austin's team, he has we're not going to make the playoffs. We're going to come up short, but we're playing some good teams, and we're hoping to pick up some points and finish up strong. And so that's going to be exciting.
That's great. That's it's good for us. So
I was watching last night.
Yeah, we beat Leaside 3-1. We weren't at the game because Ozzy had an exam first thing this morning. That game started at like 10 o'clock.
Yes.
So, or like 9:50 or something. So
yeah,
he wasn't there, unfortunately, but I was lying in bed watching it on Live Barn on my phone. Ozzy finished his exam today and did all right. So that's all right. Or he feels pretty good about it. But yeah, so that puts us, I think, in 5th position now in the standings. So we're behind North Toronto, Don Mills, Forest Hill, and Avenue Road, all strong teams. But we're with other strong teams in there with the Arrows and the York Mills, and there's someone else I'm missing. West Hill. Yeah, so it's a good group.
And I noticed last night Shamrocks 2-1 lost to Avenue Road. So
some changes happening.
Off the bottom.
Yeah, it's that time of year that you taught me last year. It's this time of year. You're like, things can change. So that's been good. We've got so in the last couple of weeks, though, we lost to, or in the last week, we lost to North Toronto, though, a good match, but they always do have our number. And we did beat Leaside, so that was good. And then, Clive's team's just kind of humming along. We had an exhibition game, moving along, still getting used to the full ice, but we're looking pretty good. The team is really well dispersed. There's a lot of players, or they're all young players, but everyone's contributing a bit. So it's really fun to, like, now that I've been through it once with my oldest, sort of halfway through with my middle, doing it again, you have a new perspective and a new understanding of how it all works. So it's great. It's like, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm glad that Clive's into it.
Now, will Clive's team, do they do playoffs, or is it like a tournament at the end? How do they do it in the CDS?
I don't know.
You don't know.
So I have no clue.
Let's find out. Yeah.
No, I have no clue. That would be a question I would ask you normally.
Yeah, I don't.
And the only way I answer that question is I do who is CDS, and I do a whole bit about it, and I do some research about it, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, CDS, I am not as informed about.
Yeah, me neither. But then we go into the G next year, so that's exciting. But speaking of Clive, he's been doing this skating on Mondays with Jody.
Yes.
Do you know Jody and the company?
Yes, Barrett is a true believer in Jody.
Well, I'm a true believer in Jody because I've seen Barrett skate. He's quite phenomenal. And Clive's really enjoying and having a good time. So I took him over to Vic Village there to have that skate on Monday. And who do I run into is Jamie and Ryan Edwards, who they were there. Yes. So I ended up talking to them for a bit, which was a lot of fun, and catching up with them and hearing all about sort of, the U16 team and they have the U10 team. And they reminded me that tonight is the prospect game. And they have a whole bunch of players playing in that prospect game. And unfortunately, we've missed it again, second year in a row. Time doesn't allow us to be there. But big game tonight.
Huge game tonight. And one of their players, Tyler Lee, who was initially left off the rosters, has been added. So that's a great thing because he's a terrific player.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they were saying it was a big game for the kids and everyone's really excited about it and stuff. And I've been watching some of the G Instagram today, and I've seen them posting about it and whatnot. So that's good. The prospect game happening up at the Scotia Pond, not happening at Herb Carnegie as originally planned.
Oh, how come?
I think because of construction is what I was told from Ryan. So maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I don't know. But they are playing tonight, big game, and watching those guys play AAA prospect game. It's going to be a good one, I'm sure. Are you going to watch it on Live Barn?
I will try to catch the beginning of it, but we are playing at 9:00 at Thornhill Community Center.
Oh yeah, we were up there on Sunday.
Yeah, so with the weather and traffic, it might be. I got to pick up a few kids, so I probably will miss it. But the best thing about Live Barn, video on demand.
Oh right, yeah.
So I will be able to go back and watch it.
Nice. Yeah, so we'll catch that. So that's happening right now in the G. The other thing, Thornhill, you reminded me about it. The death of the snack bar. It is a lot. Like there are many arenas that don't even have the snack bar anymore. That arena used to have a snack bar. It's now just skate sharpening there.
Oh,
and it's not even.
I haven't noticed. It's funny. There's certain rinks that I don't even look for the snack bar, and that's one of them because where I park sort of on the backside, and you can slip right into the rink.
Oh, I didn't know that.
By the end, and so I don't even end up going through the main lobby.
Yeah, so they used to have one. Don Montgomery used to have one. It seems to be closed.
Don Montgomery's is closed?
Yeah, I have been there like 4, 5, 6 times in the last little while, and I haven't seen it open once. And even one time I hadn't eaten dinner, dropped off Clive. He was getting changed. I just wanted something like a granola bar or something. They took all the vending machines out. There's not even a vending machine there.
Really?
Yeah, and then like East York.
Yeah, I heard East York. It didn't come back after COVID.
Yeah,
and that was a sneaky good snack.
That was the best. That was
candy.
A sneaky good one. Yeah. So anyway, but I was in my favorite snack bar, which is the Ted Reeves snack bar on Sunday. Yes. Watched the Bills, unfortunately, not be able to pull it off in that snack bar there. But yeah, it was good to be in that one of my favorite places to watch one of my favorite teams. Yes. Both the Ted Reeves Thunder U16 single A team and the Buffalo Bills. Both are my favorite teams.
Next year it's going to be interesting when it's the U10 Ted Reeves Thunder and the U17 Ted Reeves Thunder.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll have who will gain your number one pole position?
Thunder strikes twice.
Yes.
Not too bad. All right. What else do I have to talk about? Well, why don't we jump into the stock market? Because I think it is what everyone tunes into. It's what everyone wants to know. We're running into the playoffs, and people really, really want to know how everyone's been doing over the last week. So, Stoff, wherever you are, come on back in. Let's hear what's going on in the G.
Great to be back, gentlemen. Great to be back. And of course, we're going to take care of the happenings in the G as we do every single week on the stock market. And Puffy, I know you're getting ready to head down south for a few days, but we all know you can't really stay away. And you'll be keeping an eye on from afar on the comings and goings in the G while you're away. But for now, let's start with the U16 AAA division, where I hear there was a few interesting results this past week.
Yes, Stoff. Now, as I said earlier, Turks and Caicos, I'm pretty sure you have a villa down there. I have seen some of the pics. It's a beautiful spot. The U16 AAA loop is down to its final 3 or 4 games. They're only playing 33 regular season games this year because it's an OHL Cup year, which takes place at the end of March. Domino's Flyers need 4 points in their last 4 games to clinch their 4th straight regular season title. The other contenders are not going down without a fight, as the third-place JRC tied the Flyers 2-2 last Sunday at Scotia Pond. Another team making a late push, the Toronto Marlboros, winners of 6 straight games, and need just 3 points in their last 3 games to clinch a top 5 spot. The race for the final playoff spot is nearly over, as the Reps need just 4 points in their last 5 games to clinch 8th overall over the Mississauga Rebels.
That's a tough spot for the Rebels, Puff, but I still believe they can come together and get it done. But clearly lots going on in the AAA circuit. But I believe the most exciting story took place in the single A loop in the U16 2009 division. Am I right, Puffy?
Yes, you are correct, Stoff, and it finally happened. The last perfect record in the G is no more. The game we have all been waiting for lived up to the hype when the top-ranked first-place Avenue Road Ducks faced off against the second-place Forest Hill Force. Perfection was on the line for the Ducks, and the Force met the challenge, beating the Ducks 4-1 at Scotia Pond. So now the Force sit tied for top spot with the Ducks with 5 games left. However, the Ducks still are in the pole position to take the regular season crown as they have 6 games remaining. However, the Ducks still have one against the Force, February 16th at Scotia Pond. Rink 1 gets the call. Way to go, GTHL schedule makers. That's the right fit for that game.
They heard you. They heard you, Puff.
Yeah. I have a feeling Rink 1 is going to be standing room only that night, Puffy.
I will be there.
Yes.
4-1 too. That's not a small feat against that team.
No.
That's
but
huge.
As I said earlier, the Shamrocks almost pulled off an upset yesterday. So I think Avenue Road is.
So did Ted Reeve. You were at that game.
Yeah, and Ted Reeve, they almost, and then North Toronto beat them in the tournament. So I think the Ducks are hitting a little bit of a skid right now.
Now, do you think this is just a product of the Ducks getting everybody's best effort from being on the top this whole time?
I think that's probably a pretty good chance that they're getting everyone's big swing.
They're getting tested.
It always happens to the top teams.
Well, Puffy, you were in Port Huron this past weekend for the Silver Stick Finals with the U15 AA East Ender Ticats. Now, from the viral clip of you berating the team, we know you guys came up a little bit short. But did the other
doesn't exist.
The other GTHL teams, did they fare better at the tournament?
It was a bit of a surprise that the Ticats didn't make it through to the quarterfinals last Saturday night. But the biggest surprise of the weekend came during the semifinals last Sunday morning when the Vaughan Rangers, the number 1 ranked AA team in 2010 in North America, were upset 2-1 in double overtime by the Nickel City Cubs. That upset opened the door for the Rangers' division rivals, the Mississauga Beast, to take home the crown when they beat Nickel City in the final 2-1, also in overtime. Interesting tidbit from the weekend, the only team to not win a Silver Stick this season was in the tournament. Hold on, let me say it again. The interesting tidbit from the weekend, the only team to not win a Silver Stick tournament this season was the Mississauga Beast, who qualified as a runner-up from the Brampton tournament. The Beast came up big when it mattered most, going a perfect 6-0 over the weekend to claim the coveted Silver Stick championship.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I believe the kids call beast mode.
That's it.
So now, Puffy, what do you have your eye on this weekend in minor league hockey circles?
Well, there's a playoff push certainly going on here in the city, but Port Huron is again the center of the hockey world. This weekend, the 2012 U13 Single A and AA Silver Stick champs will be in action. In the AA division, the Leaside Flames, Markham Islanders, and Ted Reeve Thunder are all looking to take home the coveted crown. And in the Single A division, the Vaughan Rangers are there. So good luck to all those teams.
Absolutely. That wraps up the stock market, but you guys were talking about snack bars before, Puffy, and you're heading down to Turks, so you got to make sure to head over to the Conch Shack. I'm sure you remember from the previous time we were there. Quite the good snacks, a lot of good deep fried goods. So
we're staying in Grace Bay, and it is just a walk up the beach.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, enjoy your well-deserved vacation. And I will see you, gentlemen, next week.
Stop. Could you come back for 1 second? I know GCAT's Bills did not make it to the Super Bowl, but congratulations to your Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank you, sir.
Who are heading back to the Super Bowl.
We're all Eagles fans now.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it.
They can pull it off?
I do think so. I'm glad this is happening. It's a bit of unfinished business from 2 years ago. You know how close that game was. Came down to a pass interference call. Yep. Back when everyone wasn't just saying that KC had the refs back in their pockets, but now that everyone thinks they do, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good game. A lot of strength on strength. So we'll see who comes out on top, but go Eagles.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, boys.
Thanks,
go Eagles. Go Eagles. Thanks, Stuff. Actually, I was hung up that whole conversation at the end there on that Stuff thinks you have a well-deserved vacation due to you for some reason. I'm not too sure where that came from. But speaking of the Silver Stick, last week, remember I asked you, like, what is the Silver Stick? Who run? So I did a little research. I followed up. I followed up with what I asked.
You are like the opposite of what I am. I like to come up with ideas and not follow through. You always do.
It's all about execution. So first of all, the first question we had, or the first thing we said was, is the Silver Stick a private company? Like, are they making tons of money on it, kind of thing? Mm-hmm. And the answer to that is no. The Silver Stick Tournament is not a private company. It operates as a non-profit organization dedicated to fostering youth hockey competition and sportsmanship across North America. So it's structured as a charitable, volunteer-driven organization rather than a for-profit business. Its mission is really around youth hockey development, international goodwill, and sportsmanship. So it's run by regional directors and tournament organizers and volunteers who oversee the different divisions and all the events over it. So the funding, though, does come from team registration fees, sponsors, and donations. So we answered that question. We got that out of the way.
Yes.
But when did this start? Are you curious?
I would guess. Can I guess 1975?
Well, in 1975, I can tell you, Joan McClellan, one of the longstanding volunteers, was recognized for her efforts in the organization and in the tournament. But it wasn't 1975 that it started. That was a little tidbit about what happened in 1975. What happened was in 1958, the first Silver Stick hockey tournament was conceived by Jack Kinsella, a sports enthusiast from one of your favorite spots, Whitby, Ontario.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sure. The idea stemmed from his vision to foster goodwill and friendly competition between Canadian and American youth hockey teams is how it started. He proposed a tournament to emphasize to get this thing going, an international competition. And then originally it was named, the original name of the Silver Stick was the Little NHL, modeled after the NHL. It was later renamed to the Silver Stick. And the very first one, 1958-59, the inaugural Silver Stick tournament was held in, where do you think?
Whitby.
Richmond Hill.
Oh.
For the Pee Wee hockey players, or 11 to 12, because we don't say Pee Wee anymore. I think Pee Wee's fine.
Yeah, but we don't say it anymore.
Yeah, we don't say Pee Wee anymore. But anyway, the Silver Stick Trophy was awarded there in 1959, and that's when they started it. And then in 1960, 1 year later, they started expanding to include more divisions and different levels. 1963, the qualifying tournaments were added to allow teams from different regions to earn a place in the international finals. So that was when 1963. The tournament, the first official international finals for the Silver Stick tournament were held in, where do you think?
Port Huron.
You got it. Port Huron, Michigan.
Yes.
That's where the International Silver Stick Finals started, and it still is today. And so in 1971, the Bantam division was added. 1975, I told you Joan McCullough was awarded a great award for being a great volunteer there. The tournament kept growing through the 70s and kept growing that way. In 1982, the tournament gained significant popularity and participation exceeded 500 teams across all divisions. Wow. In 1984, the Forest, Ontario became the host for the novice division, ages 9 to 10, and Sarnia was selected for the Pee Wee International Finals then. This kept going, throughout the 80s, things just kept getting added, more divisions, more tournaments. And then in 1990, the tournament expanded to include what we don't say anymore, but the midget division. This is what it says here. I don't say that anymore. Maybe we beep that out.
Yes.
So in 1995, this is an interesting fact. Bob Fallon, an influential volunteer, streamlined operations by introducing computer-based registration and scheduling.
Oh, wow. I would have hated to have done it before.
Yeah, like before 1995, it was just paper and pen. And in 1997, the Atom division was added. 2000, girls hockey division was added to the Silver Stick program. And in 2005, the Silver Stick organization launched its official website to manage applications and all of the tournament details. So there you go. So a special, what else is going on recently? A special Silver Stick Hall of Fame was created to honor players and coaches and volunteers. The tournament celebrated 50th anniversary with special events in 2010. 2012, the tournament introduced live streaming games during the international finals.
Nice.
And yeah, so participation has reached an all-time high with 1,000 teams now across North America. A scholarship program was launched for players that were showing great sportsmanship and academic excellence.
Nice.
Yeah, so it just keeps going. So the regional qualifiers expanded to include, this is 2022, Alberta, Texas, and California. The tournament included U7 and U9 to promote early involvement in hockey. And over 60 regional tournaments are held across Canada and the United States for it. Teams must win a regional qualifying tournament to compete in the international finals. Tournament.
That's wrong.
It says here, eligibility.
Saga Beast did not do it.
Well, yeah, some of the others. The tournament is divided into skill level. Yeah, that's right. So you can get the runner-up position if they don't have the full thing, but you do have to play in that tournament, don't you, to then get in. So I think that's what that meant. Yeah. So there you go. That's a little bit about the Silver Stick. They have sponsors. They have major sponsors. Maybe you saw them down Port Huron. Tim Hortons, Canadian Tire, supported the event over the years, it says. Mm-hmm. And really, it's driven by a whole lot of volunteers, a whole lot of love. And And did you know this, that the tournament has also featured NHL players Wayne Gretzky and Steve Yzerman? Did you know that?
I did not know they were in it. No.
And Joe Thornton.
Does it say anything about, I've always heard, and I don't know this for 100% true, but the winning teams are in the Hockey Hall of Fame for a year?
That I don't know. I'll check that out. It doesn't say here. They did have that one comment.
I think they just their team names or whatever, the rosters get put in the Hall of Fame for a year.
Okay, I will check that out. I don't know if that's a little tidbit. I'll find that out.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there you go. Silver Stick, nonprofit organization, lots of teams involved. Texas, California, Ontario, Michigan, it was all started with a dream in Whitby, which a lot of great things start with a dream in Whitby, I think.
Exactly. Like for Barrett's division, we had a team from Utah, Colorado, Texas, Philadelphia. So and then obviously all over Ontario too. So
it was international, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I mean, it would have been nice to have some teams from Western Canada or Eastern Canada, but the U.S. was definitely well represented.
Yeah, well, they travel more, it seems like. So
yeah.
So there you go. A little bit about the Silver Stick. And another Silver Stick I want to talk about, not quite the Silver Stick that you think, but there's another tournament I learned about this weekend that I think should get a little bit of props.
Sure.
And this is the Mallard Cup. Have you ever heard of the Mallard Cup?
Do not know it. No.
So the Mallard Cup is a tournament that is put on by volunteers over on Toronto Island when the ice freezes. And they put on their own little tournament over there called the Mallard Cup. And one of my friends who's on Aussie's hockey team, he plays in it. He used to live on the island, doesn't anymore, but he goes and plays in the Mallard Cup. And he was telling me all about it. And the pictures are great. It looks awesome. Like they have a cool little thing over there, but just a little shout out to a little unknown tournament out there.
Nice.
That is all Toronto Islanders playing, which is the Toronto Island is what I mean.
Yeah.
Out on the frozen lake there. Last Saturday, they had the Mallard Cup.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. It looked cool. I think we should try to get into it one time. Well, I'll just go and visit, but it would be cool to skate on. Have you ever skated on Lake Ontario like that?
No, we skated in the Wellington, but on Westlake. Feeds in Lake Ontario, but not on the
not out in front of Toronto or anything like that.
No.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be super.
I've never done that. Yeah. But anyway, maybe we'll be asked to the Mallard Cup next year.
Yes, be great.
Okay, well that's good. Well, that's it. I think that's our episode this time, number 65. What do you think, Puff?
Yeah, I think that I mean, I really now, like, looking at the standings, looking at the games left, it does feel like we are winding down. And the tournaments are starting. I mean, I think this is the last Silver Stick weekend. It does feel like we're getting in that final stretch. So hopefully everyone finishes strong, and we have a great playoffs coming up to watch and enjoy.
Yeah. We have this tournament this weekend, actually, the Kennedy. I'll tell you more about it. I don't know anything about it, but it's up at Canlan. And then, we have a couple games. So I think February 19th is when the playoffs start, or the.
I think that's when maybe the playoffs start there, because the last game I've seen, February 18th is scheduled.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe February 19th is playoffs already.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's coming hot. It's coming fast. We got a few more games to go, and off we go. So with that, why don't we go to our song of the week?
For sure.
What do you think of that? Do you want to go off first? Yeah. You got some songs?
I can start.
Hit us.
My song of the week, I wouldn't say it's exactly a pump-up jam, but it's a song that I've enjoyed over the last little bit. And it's from a band that I have heard great things about. They're starting to pick up a little bit of steam, it feels like. Usually when I find a band, it's when they've already sort of started to really gain momentum. But I have to say, none of their songs really hit with me. And but this song I've enjoyed, and it's called Edge of the Earth. It's the Beaches.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never really been like, people are, it's such a great band. And I've sort of like listened to some of their songs, been like, that's fine, kind of all right. But this song I really like. So shout out to a local band that's making really good. They're starting to really blow up.
Yeah, they've been blowing up for a little while, for sure. Yeah, they're big. They're at, I think they're like playing Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo this year and a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, they're a good band. They always play the Key to Bala the last few years, so
nice.
I'd like to check them out. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, good choice, though. Good Canadian group, for sure. So I got two announcements on my song. The first one is a correction from last week. I got a note from, I'm going to butcher it a bit, but Jen Marie, who definitely knows her music, because she corrected me on 2 points on my song of last week, which Stoff had already corrected me throughout the week that I'd said the band name wrong. So I had picked the song Mind Control. It's by a band called Giant Rooks, not Great Rooks, which I said giant. I said great. They're called Giant. And I said they were from England.
Yes.
But they're not. They're from Germany. So I was wrong on all fronts. But anyway, that's a huge, she likes the pod. She's a mom on the Humber Valley Sharks U13 single A team. So big shout out. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And thanks for the correction. I appreciate that. But my song now of the week is a blast from the past, another Toronto rock band, actually, just by coincidence. Okay. And a little tidbit, when I was talking to Ryan Edwards, we were talking about the music part and stuff, and his cousin is a singer I love, and we made this connection.
Really?
Which is Ron Hawkins, who is the lead singer of a band called Lowest of the Low, which had a huge album back in the 90s called Shakespeare My Butt. They had a song called like Salesman Cheats and Lies, or Everything is Rosy and Gray. Huge Canadian artist, for sure. Still going today, and he's had a couple variations of himself, and one of the bands he had was called Ron Hawkins and the Rusty Nails. You're going to get real music nerdy here. Who I saw in Guelph back in like 1997 or 8, say. And he had this song called Be My Alibi, and I have loved that song ever since the first time I've ever heard it. It is a pump-up jam. It's a little poppy. It's a little punky. Nice. It's a lot of rock and roll. But it's Ron Hawkins, who is either from the Lowest of the Low, usually is what he's most famous for, but on his solo career, and then he had a side career called Ron Hawkins and the Rusty Nails. Be My Alibi. Nice. Great song. Check it out. And a shout out to the Edwards brothers' cousin on that one, for sure.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's our song of the week. And that is the episode wrap. Anything else you got, Puff? You got to get packing. You got to get to the...
Yeah, I've left a lot to be done in the next 5 or 6 hours.
Have you figured out what's going on with the dog?
Yeah, the dog's already away.
The dog's gone. You're not just going to feed it a lot and hope for the best?
No. Puppy Resort, she's locked and loaded. So that one's check.
Good. All right. Well, with that, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support. We really appreciate it. We love it when you say hi to us. So please keep doing that. Puff, have a great time in Turks. Stoff, thanks again for everything you do on the pod. And everyone else, have a great time this week with your games, getting ready for playoffs. Please share, like, listen, comment, reach out, all those things on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, and, of course, YouTube. And thanks for listening to the Rink podcast. Puff, anything to end with?
Just Live Barn, if you notice that there's somebody in Turks and Caicos watching your feed, it's not a joke. I am down there watching it, so keep the feed coming. Don't
live
shut me
from
down.
the Conch Bar. There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. And for the listeners, this is how every episode starts.
Pretty much.
Stoff and I are ready. Puffy has no idea what's going on.